We are going to record what I do to get one of these tuned up, and basically what I do is I generally will take the box and take the screws out of the back end, because I've had the screws in there for sanding reasons, and so I'll take the two brass screws out of there. They're just a small screw, so they're not too much. Set them off to the side, and then this little guy here, I'll generally try and get it to open up. Sometimes a little bitty screwdriver is required, and I don't like to generally come in from the top here, but sometimes I have to, or I can come in from the bottom, which is probably what I'll do. But whenever they're like this tight, just come in from the bottom and give it a little bump, and then this end right here will come off. And this is the roughest one of the pine, and I don't know why it came out the roughest, but it is. But anyway, so I'll set that off to the side, take the box, and I'll look inside the box. At some point I have to take the chisel and clean out that, and then I'll take and put this in here like that, and that will pop that out just a little bit, because it's been glued in there and it's been sitting in there, and it's basically this is all I really did was glue them in, so they need some adjusting, and that one's really tight. So what I'll do is I'll take this and take the file and get out of sanding both sides. On this set, my lids didn't come out as good as I wanted them to, because they were too thin on the bottom, and you know, it's kind of one of them things. You make it 12 of them, and you got a little bit of variance in the wood. I set it up on the first one; it was a little thicker than the rest of them, so it caused my lip down here on the bottom to be thinner, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of frustrating. But anyway, you know, it still works. But anyway, what I'll do with this thing is go in here and take the chisel, and I'll go down inside the box, and any glue that, you know, kind of got up in there, I'll clean that out. And of course I'm working on this pad to keep from getting this switch, keep from getting this stretched out or scratched. And this one doesn't have too much gunk in it. There's a little bit of a spot right down in here, that a little bit too much glue, and all this does is keeps this box here from going down in it if it's too gunked up, and it's got some in it. So take the file to it as well and clean it up. It don't take long. You know, a little bitty bump down inside there is often, you know, just a issue. And all I'm doing is just going across, cleaning out the inside of it just a little bit. And then I'm just test fitting it with this. See, and it goes down in there just fine. So just, you know, a couple little bumps from glues. And each one of these were test fitted to make sure they would go in there. And again, this one's a little bit on the rough side. But okay, so the next thing I do is get this lid here to fit in this slot, and it helps if I do it in there right. It looks like I got a little funk or something up in here. And sometimes you take a little notch like so, clean them little tips off there, you know, because they're just so sharp, and just get them in there like that, and kind of look, see what you got to do to it. Somewhere in there, there's a funk on there. Might be a little glue. Might be a little something in the slot, and that you can kind of look at. Like for example, see this right here? Just that punk right down in there. And I mean, this is precision stuff right here. So got to get it cleaned up. Once I get it cleaned up, then I'll take the wax and run down through there. And let's see how she fits now. And it's just, you know, just a matter of fine tuning it. There's a snag in there somewhere. And I'm about to get that cleaned up. And I just want that to where that cleans up. And finding that spot that's causing it to hang. Sometimes, see that little piece of glue right there? All it takes is just one little thing in there. And, you know, that's what will cause it to hang up. So, when you make these little precision slides, yeah, now we're hitting pretty good. A little bit of friction in there. And I'll just take this little guy right here, this wax, open it up, and well, that stuff lasts a long time. And all I'm doing is just putting wax down in that slide. And both sides there like that. And there we go. Gonna clean it up, slip her down right there, and it works good now. It's got just a little bit of resistance, but not enough to where you can't get it to pull out. So that's really what you want. So get that done. The box is cleaned up now. This will fit down in there, so we'll put that off to the side a little bit. Now the next thing we do is we take this box here, and this lines up with a hole down in there. The slot, this little slot right here lines up with this little slot right down in here. So get that, well, that's good. And how much play we got in the box? Just a little bit of play, not too much. Okay, so then we start with 5, and each one of these need to be adjusted just a hair, depending on how the box come together. Like for example, this guy right here, on some of these boxes, this doesn't hardly need to be even just sanded, just a hair, and depending on how they go. So I'll take a pencil and mark right there, and then I'll come over here to the sander and hit it with the sander and sand that off just a little bit right there. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's the first thing I do, is to lightly sand that up. And that's number 5, which is the first one of the slot. And the 5 goes up, so that goes in there like that. And then I take this and I see if it's going to move, slide with that on there, which is not. And so what happens is, on my sanding, I got too close to the thickness, so this is going to need to be sanded in that respect. But right now I'm going to work it to where it slides like this. It needs a little bit more. I'm going to hit it with the sander just a hair more. And once I get it to where it slides back and forth, then I'll hit it with the sander. But I generally don't with the finish sander. And the biggest thing you do wrong is take too much. You take too much, you get sloppy, and then it'll bind up on you. So right in here, and the way to check it, it may be that there's a snag inside here, and you know, the way of dealing with that is to take the box here, Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, after I do a real light general sanding, is I'm just going to go over here, take this into the corners, and clean out all the corners. And some are better than others. You know, some are to the point where you don't have to do a whole lot of anything, and on your corners. And you got a sharp chisel. That's always the best thing. And you know, this one here is looking really good. Just chase it all the way down. This one got a little bit happy on the glue. I have to get the file out on it just a little bit. And then 5. Okay. So nothing you can do on this. Just take the file, go back on it. Just fine tuning it. All you're doing. And, you know, I can't overemphasize how much, you know, detail there are in these slides, as far as, you know, getting them to stay the, you know, slide. So okay, so we just kind of looked that one over, looked at it. This is, for example, this is one up, and you can tell that this slides that way fine, but it's too thick, so I'm gonna have to put that on the sander. Let's go look at 2. So there's 2 there, and let's leave 1 in there as well, just to see, make sure that all the notches are coming into play. Whenever they're locked in, I'm checking these notches here, like that. Put that over here, and looking at that. Okay, so this one's sliding there, and this one here is sliding here, making sure that this doesn't interfere with that. Okay, like that. So make sure that they interact with each other, and that they will slide with each other. And then the next thing on 2 is you're looking for number 2 to see if it slides. It needs a touch from the sander, so we'll give it a touch off. I generally will take the ends of them off just a little bit so the corners don't get in there and bind up. And also, you need to make sure that this tip here is not past that end as well. So, you know, what I'm doing is checking that. See, it doesn't slide because that's right there. So let's hit it again. Okay, still too much. And if you look at that, you can't really see with your eyes, but you can tell with the slide that it's still not there. And so, you know, each time I'm not aggressively sanding it, because if you get too much, then they won't work at all. Okay, so, and then sometimes you get frustrated and say, oh, heck with it, I'll just sand it. So you're like, oh well. Okay, like I hit that just a little bit more, and then of course I'll hit it with the see, we're almost there. Hit it one more time. You know, I wouldn't have thought that I needed to go this many times. That's probably the last one. Gonna need to come over here without hitting it with the 320 grip. Okay, so that works fine. As you can see, the slide is going in like that, and it's a little fat, so it's going to need to be sanded as well. That's like number 1 is. Okay, so those 2 need to be put into the sander to you know, thin them up. And we'll leave 2 in there for right now, and we'll put 3. Check 3 out. 3's the bottom. It's generally almost always thicker than the sides, and the only thing that you have to worry about is this slot right here. Like right there, you can see that that's interfering with that. So I'll need to take just a hair off of this one right here, just to lower it, just a hair, because that's too thick there. So I'm gonna hit that, lower it just a hair. So there, that one is, and you want this slide to slide through there. Okay, see, like right there, it's still touching it. So we'll want it to go down just a hair more. All right, and then also this thickness right here, it's not going to clear here. So definitely that's in the plan, is to thin this a little bit. Okay. Now, all right, let's see where we're at with this one now. Okay. Take two and put them in here. See if it's going to slide. No interference there. Okay. And we'll see about right here now. Okay. So we're good there on this sliding this way. So those two are good. That one doesn't need to be re-sanded for thickness, so we'll leave that one out. We'll go to 4. Take 4 and put them in there. Make sure that the slot clears for 4. It does clear that way when it's down in the slot, so that's not a height issue. But this one right here, just a hair, so that's keeping that up. And then we also need to make sure that it's not too long, so we're going to cut this off just a hair. Probably just cut this one off right here, just so that we want to keep this as close to neutral as we can get it. So just a hair off here and a hair off there is all we really need to do. Try it, see where we're at. And again, want that to slide back and forth. And we still are just a hair long. We're at the middle of that groove, so I'm going to hit that one more time. And, you know, even though as accurate as the CNC machines are, as you can see, a 64th of an inch determines whether or not it's going to spin or not. So, but I do want it to move with that amount of sanding, and then everything gets sanded with the 320 disc. So, if it'll float back and forth like that with a board across the end of it, like that, then that means that's good. So then let's check 5 and see where it's at. And again, this one right here, it's going to need to be thinned as well. So put that over there and it needs to be thinned apart. And then we'll go with 5. 5 is up. This one here, if you get it too thin, we sanded on it just a little bit on the get-go. And it's good that way. It just needs to be thinned a little bit. Okay, so everything but 3 needs to be thinned up. And we do that with this vise here. And what this is just one of the cutout templates, and it's 5 up, 1 up, and I'm putting the side that's lasered face down so I don't sand them off of there, and then 2 up. And I'll go over here and put this in the sander, and all I'm going to do is just take a smidge off the top of each one of those, and that'll fit right in there. Let me get my lanyard up. This is a remote, and it goes around my neck. It's got a piece of tape on it that allows this, if I give this a jerk, this thing will come apart and that kind of thing. So I've got my shop vac on over here. Barely can hear it. I'm going to turn the gas heater off And that's my shop vac. That new DeWalt Quiet Tech is amazing. Okay, this guy here, I'm going to bring it down to where it just barely interfaces that. Turn that on and run it through. And these sanders are nice, but they're not a thickness planer. All they are is they take this, 64 off of them, not too much, quarter turn. If it's a full board, and it wouldn't be able to do much. But for these smaller pieces, it's able to do more than, about a quarter turn is about it. But if you crank this down to, one full turn, it will stall out. There we go. Okay, so we got these all sanded up. They're ready to go into the box. Now all I need to do is put my little slot down there towards the face of me, get 5 lined up here like here, and start putting my slides in. And they don't have to be in any order. I generally put the 3 in last. There's 1. It says 1 up, 2 up, and basically what you're doing is this is the up. The up is towards the top of the box, and then 4 up. This is the thin one, and I just match the text on there, so I don't really have to figure anything out. I just look at it and go, okay, that's where that goes, and then 5 up like that. Okay, so I got these 4 pieces here, and I'm holding them in like this. And take a rubber band and put it around them like that, and I can see number 4 is acting like it might be kind of a pain. So anyway, there's that, and the parts are in there. So just to see if it's going to work, what I generally do is we'll put Lowell here, and the name, which is right there at the top, which would be this one right here, and Marty, which is that one, and then Honest goes in like this for Doug in this case. And it's very handy to have the box with the exact same thing, because you're sitting there going what, and then, but this is the number, this is the one that makes the most sense. So we'll do it like that. And sometimes you can get where you find something that needs to be fixed. Like right in here, I've got something that's a little bit loose, and it very well may need to be fixed just a little bit. This was the roughest one out of the 4 boxes. I mean, you always have a coal or some kind of a deal. So I'll just have to see where we come out on this deal. And these are just put in there snug. I mean, when I say snug, just barely anything. Let's get that. And most people, you got to bend over and pick up stuff. I always look at that as a exercise free. You don't have to pay the gym to do that or anything. It's just a matter of getting it done, right? Okay, so that's in there. Lid's in there. Okay, the lid opens. All right, now it's locked. Okay, so she's locked. So we hit lock, 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 and over. And you can see it didn't work. So, and sometimes again they're out of the and they're not set. So go in and lock them in. So you go unlock Richard and follow the star. Doug, follow the star. Stuart, follow the star. Marty, follow the star. Then turn it, and it's unlocked. Now let's go back and lock it back up. Okay, so that deadbolt slid into there. And you can also do it like that, and then like that, and then like, let's follow the moon, and it's like that, and follow the moon, and then like that, and then like that. Okay, then lock. So I'm thinking So the way that I troubleshoot these, and this is the final one because it's being cantankerous. Okay, I'm locking there, right? So I'm staying locked with one. That slide's working. Slide 2 is 4. Let's see if it's still working. Okay. Okay, 4 seems to be working. 4, 3, and then we'll try the slide again. Okay, 3 still holding, right? Then we go to 4. Okay, 4 still holding, right? And then we go to 4, and then we go to 5, or number 1, and tap here, and then we go up here to the top. Okay, so we're losing it between 1 and 2. Okay, so we're going to take this apart, and I wouldn't have to put screws in it, but generally, if I take this apart 3 times, that's a bunch. Sometimes I get on the first one, other times I don't. And, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of, you know, not holding my mouth right. But I think I know what's going on with this one. And when I test this between 1 and 2 where I'm losing the lock. And so that's working there. This one here, I've got a little slight crack down in there. It may be foam. Okay, so there's that. The box comes out there, and in between 2 and 1, we've got a little bit of a hang up. Okay, so let's see what we got. We're gonna drop those 3, and okay, we're gonna go in here, and you can see right here that little spot right there on 1, that little notch on 2. It just needs to be a hair wider. And I do need to fix that in the design because that's been a common problem. So I'll go over here to the bandsaw and lightly cut that. So I need to enlarge that slot on that one. And then set it like that. Okay. So we'll check it and see how she works. She locks there, okay, but she still stays unlocked that way. But whenever it comes down, she's got room to move. Okay, so that was probably the fix for it. So we'll go ahead and put the rest of our slides in there, and 4. Make sure that 5 and 4 play well. Okay, and it looks like it will. Still sliding, so there's 5 and 4. Right, and there's 3 bottom, goes in last. 1 up and 2 up, like that. Put that over here back into the slot, and get these 4 or 5 lined up, ready to go. And sometimes I would take a rubber band, put it around there, but if I hold my mouth just right, and the slots, about have to put it in there backwards. The lid. Okay, so there's the slot. I've been wondering what's going on with that, right? Put that in there. 2 in there. Okay. So there we go here. Everything back in the slots. And slide her down in there. Okay, good little jiggle so it all fits back together, and we should be good to go. So Marty was up there at the top. It's Lowell, because that's where the slide's at, and then Doug fits in there like that. So let's put that in there like that. Put a screw in there just to tack it all together. And I could probably get away with 1 screw, but I just have a lot of confidence that this is going to take care of it. Maybe. And I can go back and fix some of these cosmetic things on this box and fix, you know, the little spots where that came back in there. You know, just depending if I want to go to the detail. These are, okay, that one's locked in that case there. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come back up here and it's still locked. So that's a good sign. And then to unlock, we go over here to Richard, right here, right? And we go opposite the star, tag, Millie, opposite the star, but we follow the stars. There's a star, and then Marty, start it one time, and we open. So this box is working now. So that one's done deal, and so that's working. So that's what it takes to put one of these together. There's a lot you can do. I mean, you know, there's a lot I can do to fix this. I cut little pieces in there and clean it up just a little bit and get it together. And I probably will. I've got time to do it, and I'll probably glue some little pieces in there and clean some of that up and right in there. But on the other side of it, this is something that's going to be handled and dropped, and you know, it's even though it's fine woodworking, it is what it is. It's pine and cedar. This box is made out of a waterbed that's their parents. Their parents are deceased now, so this is a piece, and it probably won't get anything but sit up on there. And you can take a little paste wax, clean that, put that on there, and really, you know, dress it up. I've got a little. I can come back and sand this just a little bit more and get the scratches out of it, and then shoot it with another shot of lacquer. But anyway, it is what it is, and I like what we've got going on there. So it works.